The rookie film for Omarion Hampton tells us that if he's healthy in 2026, the Los Angeles Chargers are getting a game changer.
You are Locked On NFL Draft, your daily podcast covering the NFL Draft. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Welcome back to the Locked On NFL Draft Podcast. I'm Damian Parson. That is Keith Sanchez. And on today's episode, we're giving the rookie report card for Omarion Hampton, running back for the Los Angeles Chargers. We're going to explain our grade, talk about the concerns coming off of his rookie film, and talk about the pros. Keith, let's get into those pros. And one of the good things we saw on film, this young man's season was cut to I think 9 games total, if I'm not mistaken. He had the injury that kind of took away some of his season, almost half of his season, really. But when you look at the film, Keith, and I'll give the numbers to everybody, 124 carries, 545 yards rushing, 5 total touchdowns, caught the ball out of the backfield as well. Keith, what stood out to you for Omarion Hampton as a rookie?
Yeah, I thought that there was a nice blend of the height, weight, speed transferring, right? I thought that there were times, and it appeared that the Los Angeles Chargers, they ran a lot of outside flow, right? Whether that was like outside zone or a toss pitch type situation. And when he got to the perimeter, DP, I thought you seen that speed and athleticism, like it clicked, right? I thought you seen the burst and explosiveness. And so with that being said, I think that the things that translate and can translate is that does he have the potential to be a physically dominant running back, meaning that his physical tools have the opportunity to take over a game? And I would say yes. We'll get into the concerns, and you already got into the lack of reps and stuff like that. But to me, there were flashes of, okay, wait, this guy has the height, he has the weight, he has the speed. And remember, coming out of the combine, that was a lot of conversation, right? I think he was 4'3", low 4'4" type of guy, and people weren't expecting that, but he did it. And then I was like, okay, wait, are we dealing with a different caliber athlete? I thought that there were times on film when you're talking about explosiveness and acceleration that you can see on film that this is a high caliber athlete.
Yeah, like dense build, Keith. He runs with power. Yeah. He likes to punish defenders, similar to what we talked about with Ashton Jeanty, and I'm right there with you. The speed and acceleration to hit open field was big when I was watching Omarion Hampton. Again, not limited, not the full season we would have liked to see from a workload standpoint. Only 124 total carries and everything, but I mean he did catch 32 out of 32 passes out of 35 targets. So he was sure-handed and everything like that. And we talked about yesterday, Keith, about Jeanty. Omarion Hampton averaged 4.4 yards per rush, right? The offensive line, even though they were an injured bunch and everything too, like the play call, a ton of injuries. Yep. Yeah, a ton of injuries. I think Greg Roman was the OC at the time. And everything like that. I don't think he's OC. No, Mike McDaniel is a new OC. So very different situation, because McDaniel comes from that Shanahan McVay type of tree, whereas a lot more wide zone, stretch zone concept. So definitely be interested to see how that happened. But his ability to win the edge was big. You know what I mean? Because like whether there was a couple runs where it was like kind of like off tackle. And
it was outside flow. Yeah,
a lot of outside flow stuff. And on this run, remember he was following the blocker. He jump cut outside and then immediately accelerated and got down the sideline. And I was like, that's a big man moving really fast. Like, I was like, you know what I mean? To go from jump cuts is total. And I think that was one of the talking points with us between him and Jeanty as prospects was there's a different athletic profile between the two. Like, you know what I'm saying? Even though he's not Bijan, not Gibbs, the string together 2 or 3 jump cuts in short range and that start ability, having that elite ability like that. But he jump cut, and when his feet landed, that gear shifted. And it was like, when I looked at Jeanty, it was a little bit, as a rookie, Jeanty jump cut it. It felt like it took him a little bit to get back up to steam and get back up to speed, where Hampton, it was just almost instantaneous. Jump cut outside, foot hits the ground, and these tires are rolling. So that speed, the acceleration to win the edge, but then also being able to run so well behind his pads. He uses his frame so well, it's almost like a weapon. Like, you know what I mean? Like that big physical frame, 225 pounds, like not just absorbing contact, but again, he's going to give, it's a give and take relationship between him and defenders. If you think you're just about to run up and lower the shoulder, yeah, you got another thing coming with Omarion Hampton, man. And because there was a run, man, I can't remember which game it was, but like he took a handoff. I think it was kind of an off tackle on the right side. He hits the hole. I think a defender, a linebacker might have jumped on his, like grabbed him from the side. Another defender comes to try. They're trying to pull him down, and he drags him for another 15 yards. And his feet. It was one of those situations where like you see the offensive lineman lifting the back up and then like just pushing the running back. The running back ain't doing nothing. It's just the old line pushing. No, his legs. He was churning with bodies on him, and I was like, man, like this offense really missed him when he wasn't healthy, because he brought a different element to the game. But also, kid, I think one of the more underrated parts of his game, this dude catches the ball very well.
Yeah, the pass catching ability.
He's not going to run a ton of routes. He's not going to have some. His route tree is not going to be filled with branches. But the things you ask him to do well as a pass catcher, he's going to do well. He catches the ball, soft hands, secure hands. He looks it in. And you talking about Keith, guys like Hampton, I'm cool with you being just functional as a pass catcher from the aspect of if you run a flat route, screens, whatever, if I can get you matched up with a corner in open field, that's what I want, because I know that corner is thinking to himself, how am I going to survive this? Like that corner is trying to, they're thinking like, I got to break down and tackle 225 pounds. And if your corner has been drifting upfield and there's like 7 yards of space between the two, that's more than enough time for Omarion Hampton to hit full speed. And now it's like a locomotive hitting the tracks. And now that corner has to make a business decision. I'm going to take him on head on and make the tackle, or I'm going to give faint effort. I might miss, and now it's a big play, and people are looking at me like, why didn't you do something? You know what I'm saying? So I think that's an underrated part of his game, is just how good he is in the passing offense.
Yeah, and something that they can continue to kind of like dive into, right? And when you were talking, I was looking up the numbers, DP, and I mean he had what 1, 2, 3. He had 4 games, right? This is 4 games, and this is a limited amount of games, right? Because he was injured. He had 4 games where he had at least 5 catches out of the backfield, right? Like that's big time, right? That, like when you're talking about just trying to balance things out, and especially somebody with the height, weight, speed combination that he has, getting him one-on-one with defenders too could be dangerous, right? Because you're one broken tackle away from potentially a play, especially if they're playing man or something like that, right? Yeah. And the defenders are turned covering their guys. You one play away from this dump off turning into a 30-40 yard gain, totally flipping the field position, right? So there are some things that like you said with Omarion Hampton, that was fun and exciting. And I think that's the part too, where you're seeing flashes of like, like that could be a big play. He's about to rip that one off, right? Like, and you seen that, and I forgot what play it was down the sideline, and you just watching this big old boy move, and you're like, yeah, that's tough. Like I wouldn't want to tackle that. I don't want to be
not at all
in front of that. So it's I thought that the best way to say is that there were flashes of a nice combination of a starting running back with a really high ceiling. I thought that, to me, like that would probably be my biggest takeaway from that.
Keith, I 100% agree with you. I think healthy, he's a game changer for this offense. Like you have Justin Herbert, you have Quentin Johnston, Ladd McConkey, Trey Harris. They brought in David Njoku on the 1-year deal. You have Oronde Gatson at tight end as well. So you got 2 athletic tight ends now. The offensive line being healthy, and they added more pieces to it. Yeah, like, I mean, granted, we say this every year with the Chargers. If you guys can stay healthy, I don't know what it is about the Chargers and staying. Might need a new strength and conditioning coach, something. Like, you know what I mean? But if they can stay healthy, especially on the front lines, man, yeah, it's put the rocket ship on Omarion Hampton's back. This guy could, the same way I talked about Ashton Jeanty, you're talking about 2 second-year running backs finishing in the top 10 in rushing yards and attempts and touchdowns. Because again, short yardage situations, Omarion Hampton's good. And Keith, even though we talk about a lot of the outside flow stuff, when they did run like counter plays and the pin pull actions, he's extremely patient to set up his blocks, follow those backside pullers, whether it was GH or GT counters, letting those big boys get in front of him. And when they make contact and he see the Red Sea part, he hits the hole with quickness, right? Slow to, fast through. I think high upside for Omarion Hampton. I want him to stay healthy this year, but yeah, high upside for him.
Yep, I agree with DP. Let's do this, man. Let's look on the other side of this, right? Let's flip the coin. Let's talk about the concerns for Omarion Hampton. We already kind of got into the limited snap counts, right? The injury concerns, but were there other things we're talking about him as a rookie that he needs to improve on heading into his second year? We'll discuss that. We're talking Omarion Hampton coming up next.
Support for today's episode comes from Square, the system that helps fix one of the biggest headaches in running a business. Starting a business is exciting, but actually running it, that's where things can get complicated fast. Payments, inventory, staff, scheduling, online orders. It's a lot to manage. That's why Square brings everything together in one connected system. Square helps you take payments, track sales, manage inventory, and keep your business running smoothly without juggling a bunch of disconnected tools. There's a local juice shop that I love to go to, and they use Square. And honestly, it makes everything simple, from fast payments to even tracking loyalty rewards. So if you're starting a business or running one that deserves better tools, Square helps you sell, manage, and grow without slowing down. Right now, you can get up to $200 off Square hardware at square.com/go/lockedonnfl. That's SQUARE.com/GO/lockedonnfl. Breaking down the concerns from the rookie film for Omarion Hampton. But don't forget to check out the Everyday Club for ad-free episodes and access to our group chat with me, Keith, and other listeners of this show. Tap the link in the show notes or go to lockedonnfldraft.supercast.com. Keith, when you think about the concerns for rookie coming off his rookie season, Omarion Hampton, what were some of the things that stood out to you?
Yeah, I mean, we have to start with the injuries, right? And we've hinted on in the first segment, but I think we go to injuries because of potential, right? The potential of what could be, watching them and being excited about it. The injuries are concerning, because I believe, if I'm correct in this, it wasn't just one injury. It was nagging things throughout the season to where I think there were even times that he suited up and played, but didn't play the full extent because it was an injury that nagged him throughout the game. So, man, if you're the Los Angeles Chargers, you're trying to figure out every which way to make sure he's 100% healthy. And similar to the conversation we had yesterday with Ashton Jeanty, is running style going to have to change? I think that's the question mark you have, right? Because this guy's physical too. He's a fighter. And we didn't talk about the one part. I mean, he throws stiff arms left and right. Right? he throws some vicious stiff arms, and there were quite a few hits, man. I think it was the Texans game. Linebacker, and this guy one of my favorite linebackers, just the way he plays the game. I think it's Ezekiel Elliott. Yeah. And he walks on that edge of dangerous. I'll say that, right? But he was finishing a run, and Aziz came in and gave him a nice little shot, right? Like, and it was a matter of could it have been targeting or something like that, right? But just those type of things, right? Like, listen, just get all the way out of bounds, right? Like, don't even
protect yourself.
Yeah, the defenders don't have opportunity to get an extra shot on you, because it was a nice little hit. It was a nice little hit, and the play was over. There wasn't going to be any more yardage that you're actually going to get. But you're fighting for that one last yard. And just like, listen, save the 1 yard, save the hit, and stay healthy. So I think the injuries and you're gonna have to try to find the fine line between telling him how to protect himself and how to still remain who you are as a runner. I think that's going to be, if I'm the running back coach for the Chargers, that's what I'm trying to teach Omarion Hampton this year.
No, 100% agree with you. The injury he ended up having, he suffered a fractured ankle in week 5, and everything. And that's what, those type of injuries can linger. Because he was out, like I said, we keep telling you guys, limited snaps. He was out from week 5 until like December. He was activated and everything, but he was still nursing that injury because it's a fractured ankle. You know what I mean? Like, so it was like one of them situations where it's like, if he was on a team that was rebuilt, like if that was Ashton Jeanty on the Raiders, he probably doesn't suit up again in his rookie season. You know what I mean? But the fact that, the Chargers were in the midst of a playoff push, right? You know what I mean? They won 11 games. They needed him. and everything like that. So to your point, like being able to coming back and then still playing and not being 100% healthy, like that's something that definitely plays a part. Keith, I would say, go ahead.
Can I say this part too? The one thing, and I thought it was interesting as the season unfolded, also was just the snaps, right? Just getting in, and that might be partly. Well, no, this was before the injury. 8 carries versus the Raiders. He had 19 against the Broncos, 12 against the Giants, 12 against the Commanders, right? Like it wasn't a 20-25 carry game, right? Like it seemed like he was on, that they intentionally maybe did the by committee thing or that situation. But I would be interested to see what their thought process was with that, because I did notice that. And I noticed that during the season, you're kind of, we paying attention to these rookies. We did our rookie report during the season. It was like, okay, these are not like gaudy, flashy numbers, but also aren't a lot of carries to them either.
Yeah, no, 100%. And I think, for me, Keith, the other thing I want to see him improve on it, and it's, again, I talked about it yesterday, it's pass protection. These young running backs come in, and at the college level, they are not technically developed, from a technique standpoint to pass protecting the NFL. You're going to see, like, the NFL's defenses are evolving yet again, where you're seeing more simulated looks, different things like that, and they're isolating, and they want to target somebody in the pass protection. They want to get that weak situation or they view as the weak link to get pressure on the quarterback, whether it's pressure on the quarterback, forcing QB hurries, whatever it may be. And so watching him, that's a situation, Keith, where I want to see him get better, because it got to a point where, if I'm not mistaken, like he was out of the running backs, they ended up, I think they had Nyheim Hines came in and he played a little bit, but they had what's the young man name? Kamani Vidal. Kamani Vidal will come in and he had a lot of pass blocking reps and things like that. He had a decent amount, and he just was better in that regard than Omarion Hampton. And I want my number one back on the field. I don't mind having a good number 2 and 3, but I don't want to have to play my number 2 and 3 because the reason I'm playing them is because you can't pass protect or you're a liability in that regard. When you're 6 foot, 6'1", 225, almost 230 pounds, I need you to be a brick house, a strong foundation in our pass pro. So I think it's just more set technique, and sometimes it's like scanning with these running backs, right? When you get these NFL exotic looks, you don't know which one of these guys are actually triggering when they line up. They mugging the A gap. They got guys flanking and they out leveraging the tackles. You got everybody on the line of scrimmage, and for a rookie running back, that's a lot to process, because you're like, well, the quarterback's trying to make the checks, and sometimes the quarterbacks don't get it right. These QBs don't always know which one of these guys are gonna trigger when the ball is snapped. They might show double A gap mug and then drop the 2 linebackers and then send a nickel corner. You're like, well, didn't account for that. Like, that just is what it is. You know what I mean? With blitz pickup. So the same way it's a hassle for QBs, same thing for running backs. So it's just something that, like we talk about with rookies. I think that's the thing with rookie running backs or young running backs in the NFL, where if you don't have the right RB coach, because some teams don't put as much, they don't hold it to the same regard. If your quarterback is Aaron Rodgers, you better pass protect. Like, ask Caleb Johnson. That's why he wasn't on the field. You know what I mean? Like, Aaron Rodgers don't play that. Tom Brady, Drew, like, if you got one of these type of quarterbacks, that Josh Allen might not care because he's 6'5", 245. You know what I mean? Like, you know what, brother, I'm my own pass protection. I'm fine. But Mac Jones, Brock Purdy, they're gonna need you to step up and make the play. So I want to see him just get better in year 2 from a pass protection standpoint.
Yeah, no, I'm with that, and I think that'll make him more well-rounded player, because we talked about the passing part, right, as far as him catching the football. So I was like, hey, I want you out here on third downs, because just exactly. In case you have to leak out or something like that, but I need you to be able to take care of the pass protection part. DP, you know what time it is, man. It is time to drop the draft grades, right? So we talking draft grades. You may have a comp or two, but we're also going to talk about the future outlook for the Los Angeles Chargers. DP talked about the addition of Mike McDaniel to the offensive coordinator. How does that look different for Omarion Hampton? We'll discuss that coming up next.
The NBA Finals are here and in full swing, and every possession matters. If you're looking to get even, closer to the action. FanDuel has a great offer to get you started. Right now, new customers can bet $5 and get $150 in bonus bets if your first bet wins. That's right. Turn $5 into $150 in bonus bets just for getting started. And I like using FanDuel during the playoffs because everything I need is right there in one place. You can check stats, trends, and matchups before making your picks, which makes the whole experience feel a lot more informed. Whether you're looking at player props or just following your favorite stars, it adds another level of excitement to every game, and it's a really easy app to navigate. And it makes playoff basketball even more engaging from start to finish. So, guys, go to the website, look up the current lines and odds for the Eastern and Western Conference Finals, and get to betting. Head to FanDuel.com to get started. Again, head to FanDuel.com to get started. FanDuel, play your game. Thank you for making Locked On NFL Draft your first listen of the day. And thank you for making the Locked On Podcast Network, the number one sports podcast network in America, is all because of you. Explain the grade, Keith. What grade did, shortened rookie season, everything like that. What grade did you give Omarion Hampton?
Yeah, DP, I felt real. I felt meh about it, right? And not about him, right? I felt that about giving him a grade because I'm like, I got 120 carries. I'm about to say calories, DP. I'm in a calorie deficit right now, man. I'm trying to, trying to get right for the summer.
I got you.
But I'm gonna give him a C, DP, and a C, and the C means average. The C means incomplete. To be completely honest, because there was just so much more, obviously, that you want to see, and a lot that you didn't see. So I felt just, hey, let me just give him a C. I was excited about the physical profile translating what we talked about in the first segment. The second segment with the concerns and stuff like that, obviously that's a thing. And I think when you take both of those, I blended that together and gave him a C.
Yeah, Keith, I'm right in the same ballpark. I gave him a C+. I was like, I saw the flashes. I graded a little bit on the curve with the flashes. I'm like, all right, these flash plays, the physical runs, things like that. I'm like, we get you for a full season. This is not going to be just flashes. It's going to become a trend week to week, right? And I think because the part to, like you said, with the injuries, he ended up being injured and fracturing his ankle week 5. You miss week 5 all the way to December. You're missing the bulk of the middle chunk of the season where you hope to see that natural development and the steps and the growth with him overall, Keith. Again, this is a big, powerful running back that has the strength, the speed, the height, weight, everything we talked about. And again, he ran for, close to almost 550 yards, and he only started 6 games. He played in 9, right? So I think just going forward, again, like he's 6, I think he's 6 foot 220 and everything. And you want to see him just hit that stride, right? Where he's just like, okay, now the game is slowing down. Like he did. I don't feel like he had a moment for the game to slow down, because just for people to know, he went from playing, he got hurt week 5 against the Commanders. He didn't return until week 14. So he missed multiple weeks, multiple months in the season. So I definitely am looking forward to seeing that kid. I think the C+, getting the speed, the acceleration, the explosiveness, the power, the strength, the pass catching ability, really being able to showcase that is going to be big. And then, like I said, I believing in him to be able to develop when you're that size and that strong, just honing in on the minor details, the attention to detail of what you got to do in pass protection. That's something that's absolutely good. Pass protection is very similar to defense in the NBA. Yes, you need skill, but you need will. Like, do I want to defend or do I don't want to defend? Do I want to pass block and step up and protect my quarterback? Do I want to be on the field? Because that will get you yanked. You know what I mean? That will get you pulled off the field in a heartbeat. So I'm looking forward to seeing him next year. I mean, like I said, they added pieces to the offensive line. They got young receivers, Quentin Johnson. That was a big thing too. When the offensive line was healthy, they had QJ rolling first 4 or 5 weeks of the season. The deep ball was cooking. And when you start hitting on the deep ball with him and Trey Harris and Arondé gassing up the seam and then allowing Ladd McConkey to be that chain mover and that underneath threat, it lightens the box for the run game. So I think if they can get that, they can have a replicated start to the season with the passing offense, be able to make those chunk, big, explosive plays. You lighten the box for Omarion Hampton with his power and run and his explosiveness too. Yeah, like it's going to be something that where, you know what? the defense is not gonna be too happy about it. Like, you know what I mean? Like they're gonna struggle with it.
I want to ask you, how do you think the insertion of Mike McDaniel to this situation, how do you think that's going to impact Omarion Hampton?
I'm excited for that because Mike McDaniel is so, especially in the run game, which I know some Miami Dolphins fans be like, he didn't run the ball enough when they were in Miami. I agree. But I love the way he schemes things because you will get like pre-snap motion with guys, and then off of the pre-snap motion, then they run the ball. Like, it creates the numbers.
Too, right? You get defensive backs rotating down or moving in the wrong spot. You know, they play
zone, they're bumping over a gap, all that type of stuff. And I mean, heck, look, you know, because Mike McDaniel's used to having that explosive smaller weapon. He brought in Brennan Thompson from Mississippi State, the guy who had the fastest 40, the speedy wide receiver. So you could see him being influx of being that motion guy and things like that. And you will see pre-snap motion and then wide zone the opposite direction. You know what I'm saying? So it's like give you the eye candy, make your eyes travel, and then ball snap, and we're going the opposite direction. And now you got to rotate, you got to get back into the play and running backside. So I think he'll have a big impact on this offense from a passing concept standpoint, but also from the run game standpoint and just helping the offensive line. Joe Alt being healthy, Sean Slater being healthy and everything. They brought in, got in a new center, improved the guard situation. I think Trevor Penning is one of their guards and stuff like that. Man, I'm pretty sure, I think they might have drafted one too. So like they have a lot of guys on the offensive line that can come in and help them a lot. So I'm looking forward to seeing. I think if he stays healthy, Mike McDaniel will be able to cook some things up scheme wise to really help him out in the run game.
Yeah, I think Mike should make it easier, right? Like you talked about opening up some run lanes, but I also look at it from the perspective of I think it's going to be good from him because it's going to be a solid little balance, right? Because Mike McDaniel probably had more finesse, and then we know Harbaugh is always going to be a lunch pail and hard hat type of guy. So I think there's going to be some balance and some real creativity from this situation that I think will project to Omarion Hampton having a good season. And I'm excited for him just to see him healthy, right? See him healthy. Yeah, you get a good 15, 16 game slate. And that's what we told people, like, you take the numbers. He played practically half the season, right? Half the season with starting off as a rookie and trying to figure yourself out. I mean, 545 yards. So you add on another half of that projects to having 1,000-yard season. And when you look at him, we talked about Ashton Jeanty yesterday. It's like, hey, I mean, these two backs can be like future guys, right? Like, are they future top 10 caliber backs? I'm interested to see what the Chargers do with him because there's a lot of potential, and I think that's the number one word that you have for Omarion. You say potential.
Yeah,
hey, this 100%. And I was trying to think of like comps and stuff. Instead of comps, I thought of Ezekiel Elliott, DP. And because Zeke had that sneaky speed to where I think he was a 4.4 guy at the combine, but Zeke was also, I believe he was a 6 foot, 215, 220 pound back. He was a big boy that can run with power. And then remember early Zeke too was hurdling guys, right? He was jumping over guys, and then doing the eat sign, right? And then back in it was probably more eat than jumping, but he was jumping early on. But I think that could be a potential thing. And you remember those old Cowboys teams, they ran the ball, they ran that offense and allowed it to open everything else up.
No, I just looked up, as when you brought up Zeke, I just looked at Zeke was 6. They had him listed at 6 foot 228.
Yeah, he's a big boy.
I didn't even realize he was that big of a body.
Big. Yeah, he's a big boy.
Not at all. Not at all. I thought it was like 5'11", like 215. He's a total 225, 228. Yeah, no, that Zeke, that Zeke comp feels right, because Zeke wasn't similar to like with Omarion and stuff like that. Zeke wasn't this like lateral, super shifty runner. It was speed, explosiveness, power downhill. I'm gonna read my blocks, get downhill, and now you got to deal with me in the second and third level of your defense. And if I get in the open space at full speed, you're not catching me. You know what I mean? They had that same type of 4.4 type of speed. That Zeke, that feels pretty good. That feels really good, honestly. That Zeke comp, I like that.
Well, DP, that wraps up another episode, man, of the Locked On NFL Draft Podcast. I want to end this podcast off by saying shout out to our everydayers. Thank you for tapping in with us each and every single day. I am Keith Sanchez. You can find me on X at the talent code. That right there is my guy, my co-host, Mr. Damian Parson. You can find him on X at DP_NFL. And like we like to say, man, y'all come talk to us because we like to talk back.
Go subscribe and follow for free on YouTube, wherever you listen to podcasts to get the latest episode as soon as it is available. On tomorrow's show, guys, we're going to talk about Emeka Egbuka, the wide receiver out of Tampa for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. He had a hot start to his rookie year before a hamstring injury really limited him down the stretch. We're going to talk about what we saw from him on tomorrow's show. So come join the conversation again tomorrow. Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.